अरे हे काय ते नवीन सुरू झालंय. वेब मीटिंग इज रेकॉर्डेड असा मेसेज येतो. डेरिव्हेटिव्ह अंडर इंटिग्रल साइन. Now, theoretically, this is not supposed to be in your syllabus of IIT Advanced because it is calculus of two variables. However, they have started asking questions on this in past few years and they like this topic. So let us understand a little bit about what do we mean by two variable calculus. Then I will get to know what is that derivative under integration. Two variable calculus, it is going to be f of x comma y, and therefore dependent variable if we call z, then z is going to be function of x as well as it is going to be function of y, and therefore we will get into three-dimensional space. Now if we are in three-dimensional space, of course there will be three axes. This is z axis, this is y axis, and this is x axis. Of course, we are talking about some three-dimensional geometry in 3D space. I hope this is a handkerchief floating in first quadrant, first octet, positive, positive, positive. Let us consider like that. And it is a surface, solid surface. If you were in the classroom, I would have taken the plastic chair and would have explained you. But now, okay, now it seems a three-dimensional handkerchief floating in space, right? So the idea is very simple, and the most difficult thing is one variable calculus, because two variable calculus is going to be dependent on one variable calculus, and therefore it is simple. Just understand what we try to do. In two variable calculus, we said we have a curve. Y is a function of x. This is y, this is x, and y is a function of x. That is what this curve is. And we want to deal with this curve, and we are, I mean, we are lazy, we are inefficient to deal with the curve, and therefore we would like to deal locally. Suppose I want to deal with this curve at this point x naught, but I am inefficient, I am poor, I cannot. Therefore, I say I will deal with straight line which is locally approximated as a curve. Local approximation of the curve is a straight line. So I will deal with this fellow instead of dealing with this fellow locally. That is the approach that we have in differential calculus, and of course exactly opposite in integral calculus. So when it comes to two variable calculus, say differential calculus of two variables, and if we want to study this surface and we are interested in studying this surface at this point, then extending the logic that we have derived here, what we would like to do is, instead of studying that surface, which is extremely difficult to study the surface at that point, what we will do is we will study the plane. We will study the plane which is tangent to that surface at that point. We will study the plane which is tangent to that surface at that point. That is the simple approach and most logical approach that we will have. And therefore, if I want to study the plane, it is okay if I study the plane in two directions. First direction is, understand this. Now suppose this is my point on the curve as well as on the plane which is tangent to that surface. I drop perpendicular on XY plane and I go to X and I go to Y. That will help you to imagine where that point is. That point, say x naught comma y naught comma z naught, will have x naught distance from, it will have x naught distance from yz axis. So this distance is x naught. It will have y naught distance from नाही, x naught distance from, बरोबर चालतोय ना, x naught distance from yz plane, y naught distance from, so this should be y naught, this should be x naught distance from yz plane, y naught distance from xz plane, and z naught distance from xy प्लेन. मी एकटाच बोलतोय का तुम्ही सगळे आहात माझ्या बरोबर? हा, रेकॉर्डिंग मध्ये चाललाय, जरा चांगले हसा वगैरे, ठीक आहे, ओके. हा, okay, so that is what is the situation of that point. And therefore what we would like to do, if we want to study the plane at x naught comma y naught comma z naught, might as well what we will do is, this is the plane which is parallel to xz plane but passing through this point, correct? This is the plane which is parallel to yz plane but passing through this point, and similarly there will be a plane which is parallel to, बरंच चांगलं ड्रॉइंग येतं आज माझ्याकडनं, बरेच दिवस शिकवलं नाही ना म्हणून. हा, this is yet another plane which is parallel to xy plane, xy plane, but passing through x naught comma y naught comma z. That is the situation that we have. And if we want to make it more visual, then this intersection line will pass through that point. This intersection line also will pass through that point. And there will be one intersection which is not passing through. That is okay. I mean, there will be one more line which is going to pass through like this, something like this. Okay, is it clear? So now if I want to study this plane and z is my dependent variable, therefore I should study the plane by studying the lines as f of x comma y naught. Understand this, z is equal to f of x comma y naught. That means I am in the plane, green plane. I am in blue plane, this plane, where y naught is constant. You see, where y naught is constant. And the picture of this blue plane will look like this. It will look like two-dimensional plane. It will have आता आपण इकडे बघून जर काढलं तर this is going to be our z axis, this is going to be our y axis, x axis, this is x axis, this is z axis, and then your curve where the surface which is intersected by this blue will be something like this. Okay, and what, this is your point x naught comma y naught comma z naught, and you are studying a straight line in that plane. Slope of straight line is going to be this plane is going to be determined by two straight lines intersecting at this point. Maybe this is one straight line that I have drawn here, which is tangent at that point to that surface, and another straight line will be green straight line, which will be actually अशी perpendicular to the screen, म्हणजे ती अशी असणार आहे. This is green straight line which is in the green plane, and that can be written like this: z is equal to f of x naught comma y, f of x naught comma y, and it will be yet another plane, green plane, in which you have z axis and y axis, and there will be some curvature, something like this, and you are studying a straight line here. That is what is. So if you study this straight line and this straight line simultaneously, you are studying the plane. I hope I am making it absolutely clear. Let me pause. And therefore, if I want to study tangent in this case, of course, my y dot is going to be constant, and therefore the slope of tangent in this case I will represent not d capital dz by dx, but small del z by del x. That is the notational difference I am making, because small change in x, what is the change in z? That is what I want to study by keeping y constant. Okay, and if I substitute in this value y is equal to y naught, I will get slope of tangent at that point. But if I just keep this ready, then for any y to be constant, what is the slope of tangent with respect to x? That means this blue plane is moving from here to here. If the handkerchief length is from A to B, then this y naught is moving ya to yb, let us say ya to yb. Okay, and therefore at any point if you want to find out the slope, you put that value of y naught or y1 or y2 or ya or yb, you get the slope at that point. And therefore this partial derivative notation, what does it mean? Simultaneously you are differentiating with respect to only one variable, keeping every other. If it is multidimensional calculus, it is going to be same. You are keeping all other variables constant. It is difficult to visualize, but it will work. And here you will do del z by del y, keeping x constant. That is why that different partial derivative notation is there. Why should we keep? Because we cannot differentiate both at a time, therefore we should keep. No. Logic is this. If you want to study plane, you study straight line. You study two straight lines, which will determine that plane. It is as simple as that. And therefore, this is all about. This is the summary of the differential calculus of two variables and maybe more than two variables. And therefore, the most difficult thing to develop is not the multivariable calculus, but it is a one variable calculus. That was the most difficult thing to develop. See, development of black and white television was most difficult. Color television was very easy compared to that. Black and white television, which came for the first time, was the most difficult invention. Color television, after that it is easy. Then earlier they were cathode ray tubes, now it is LED, LCD. They are easy developments compared to the first breakthrough. So development of 2D calculus, one variable calculus, was the most difficult thing. Okay. So coming back to derivative under integral sign, let us take the standard notation, then I will explain you how to remember the standard notation also. There is a function which is dependent on x comma t. Okay, and you want to integrate that function from a of t to b of t with respect to x. Okay, now let me call this function as say g of t. Now, what do we mean by this? F is a function of x as well as t. So there are practically two variables here. We call this as a parameter eventually, but for all practical purposes, both are unknowns and both have some influence and even on eventual value of f of x comma t. So as to understand what is this, let me draw a sketch. Now, suppose there is a function. This is x and this is f of x. Let us call it is f of only f because it is anyway f of x comma t. So this axis is f. So this is your function f of x comma t. It behaves like this. Suppose I want to know what is the value of the function at a. I go here, I will find out. What is the value of the function at b? I go here, I find out. Okay. Now what happens is, because this function is also dependent on t, let us say t is a time, so that we understand or you understand it better because it is physics related. So after some time t, the function becomes like this, somewhere else, increases or goes some deviation. Okay. Now there could be one case where your a and b are not changing with respect to t, therefore you can evaluate that function by just extending these values over here. In that case, what we will say is a and b are constants. They are not dependent on t. So a of t, which I have written here as first limit, and b of t, which is a upper limit, if they are constants, then they are independent of t, but we can always write them as function of t. So the most difficult case is a also changes with respect to t, and a becomes this fellow after some time t, and for that matter b becomes this fellow after some time. So that is the complication which is in this particular theory. Okay, so what is this? What is this? This is the integral. It is going to be function of t eventually, because if suppose this function is easily integrable with respect to dx, and if you are integrating it with respect to dx, what exactly formula we should use, that is what we are going to derive now. But after suppose we derive the formula and we deal with it, what will happen is we get some antiderivative of this part, which is supposed to be evaluated by using fundamental theorem of integral calculus between b of t and a of t. Okay, and after evaluating that quantity between b of t and a of t, what you will end up getting is something in t, and therefore this function is going to be function of t. If both these are going to be constants, then whatever is this antiderivative that you will get will be evaluated between two constants, upper minus lower, and you will end up getting a constant. So a g of t will end up being constant term, and that has been our earlier definite integral. Every time it was a constant. It was geometrically representing the area under the curve if everything is fine. Okay, so definite integral had been a constant so far, but now definite integral, if the limits of integration are functions of some other parameter, then it may end up being function of that parameter. So the answer for this is going to be function of t, which is our parameter. Okay, and therefore if it is a function of parameter, I can always differentiate this function with respect to that parameter. So I can always derivative of that function with respect to time, and therefore eventually it becomes derivative of the integral that we have in our mind. That is what is that term, derivative under integral sign. Okay. So now let us try and find out the formula for this. So many years we have not been deriving that formula in class, but today we will do. Let us see if we are successful in doing that. It is very simple. Now, what is the new notations that we want? If A is dependent on T, then I need to know the rate of change of A with respect to T. Let us call it as del A by del T. T A is changing with respect to T. So if I know what is the rate of change of A, if I multiply with change in time, if we know speed and if we know how much time we are driving, we come to know how much distance we have traveled, like that. So this point, let us consider A plus del A by del T, that is rate of change of A into delta T. That is the differential time we are considering. Similarly, what will be this? This will be B plus del B by del T, rate of change of B multiplied by change in time T. And therefore, the function also will have some similar factor. This function is going to be f of the original function f of x comma t plus rate of change of f with respect to t into delta t, or in other words I can write this function as f of x comma t plus delta t. Change in time, what happens to this function? It happens like this. Is this thing clear to everyone? This notation is going to be important. Pause the video. One more preparation here. Integral 2 plus 1, 5 plus 7, x dx. Practically, integral, what is the definite integral of x dx? Between 3 to 7. 3 to 7. That is what I am asking you. And what is the answer? X square by 2 to be evaluated between 7 to 3. साती 49 भागिले 2 वजा 3 9 भागिले 2. म्हणजे आंसर आहे 20. Correct? But then this is 2 plus 1 and 5 plus 2. Suppose if I want to develop, maybe what is the geometry of this? Geometry of this is, it is a straight line passing through origin. You want to find out 3 and you want to find out 3 7. Okay, so you want to find out area between 3 to 7 and this straight line it is 20. Okay, clear? Now what we want is in terms of 2 plus, this is 2 plus 1 and this is 5 plus 2. Okay, so if we say integral 2 to 5 x dx, that means you are finding out this blue area. Then you will have to subtract minus integral 2 to 3 x dx, that is this extra area that you have unnecessarily added here, this, that is subtracted, and plus you need to add integral x dx 5 to 7, and you need to add this area. You should get the same answer. Let us see if we get the same answer. That is x square by 2 to be evaluated between 5 to 2 minus x square by 2 to be evaluated between 3 to 2 plus x square by 2 to be evaluated between 7 to 5. And the answer will be 20. I mean, it is very simple. Okay. So, Let me come back to this and write down a big expression. We are differentiating. That means we are taking limit as delta t tends to 0, as delta t tends to 0, integral, what is our definition of ddx? d dt of f of x is equal to limit delta t tends to 0 f of t f of t plus delta t minus f of t upon delta t. That is the definition. Okay. So limit integral a plus what we are supposed to find out, a plus del a by del t into delta t from this point. That is what we want, na? Change in this. B plus del b by del t times delta t, change in after that is next position function. So f of x plus t plus delta t, which we have written as f plus del f by del t into delta t, that is our function dx minus integral a to b f dx. This is change in g. This is change in g that we have written, divided by delta t. Okay, I pause. You check whether you have understood. It is just the definition of derivative I am applying to the given function. So let me just erase this if you have done with that. And let me expand this. Now, this is why have I done this? It's for dealing with this quantity. So this is equal to, what is equal to? This is equal to limit delta t tends to 0. How do you break this up? Let us write down. Integral a to b f plus del f by del t into delta t times dx minus integral a to a plus del a by del t into delta t f plus del f by del t into delta t del f by del t delta t times dx plus integral b to b plus del b by del t into delta t f of del f by del t into delta t dx minus integral a to b f dx, that is the original, and the whole thing divided by delta t. Understand this. This is just the expansion based on this theory. Okay, so you can split this in two parts now. Limit delta t tends to 0. Can you just save one step by checking that this and this is same, first and last? Therefore, I am just cancelling that this and this is same orally, and therefore first term is going to be integral. Now this delta t is your change in time, delta t. Okay, so let me write down integral a to b del f by del t into delta t to be integrated with respect to dx minus, first term will leave this, Second term will have two terms in that, integral a to a plus del a by del t into delta t f dx minus integral a plus del a by del t delta t del f by del t into delta t integral dx plus same thing here, integral b plus del b by del t delta t f dx plus integral b plus del b by del t delta t del f by del t delta t times dx whole divided by delta t. See, if you are with the class, if you understand each and every step, this is something different. Okay. Now, I will pause. Okay. Now, if we look at this bracket, then this delta t is fixed change in time. So it can be taken out and I can do this limit delta t tends to 0. It is going to be this delta t constant and this delta t will cancel. So let me put it in big bracket. Integral a to b del f by del t dt. Now when I write a to b here, I mean a of t and b of t, because every time I had to write a of t and b of t, then it would have been long essay, and therefore I am writing only a, but a is function of t, b is function of t. Now what will happen to this? This will be minus integral a plus del a by del t delta t a f dx upon delta t. This. Then let us see what will happen to this. Again, this delta t will come out here. It will get cancelled with this. And now here what we are doing is changing from we are delta t gone, and it practically as delta t tends to 0. Okay, let us write down that also. Minus integral a to a plus del a by del t delta t into del f. Unnecessarily I am writing this. So what I should do is I should orally finish few terms and write only the remaining ones. Okay, so there is no point in writing the same thing again. Now let us orally do this. There is a delta t here in the denominator. Now delta t, this divided by delta t, this delta t is constant, which will come out and will get cancelled, and therefore you are getting a term which is independent of delta t, and you are supposed to take delta t tends to 0. Therefore that term will survive integral a to b del f by del t into dx. This term, after taking limit, this term will survive. Now what will happen to this? Limit delta t tends to 0. You are supposed to evaluate this limit divided by delta t. This limit will become 0 as delta t tends to 0. You are practically evaluating between a to a, and therefore numerator will be 0 and denominator is also 0. Therefore we cannot ignore this. Therefore we cannot ignore this term, and this term will survive as delta t tends to 0. Is that right? And therefore we have to write this term, integral a to a plus del a by del t to delta t f dx over delta t, and limit of this as delta t tends to 0 will continue. Okay, you understand this. Now what happens to this? This delta t will get cancelled. Okay, so denominator is not 0 now, and then you are evaluating it between very small limit. So as delta t tends to 0, it is integration 0 a to a you are evaluating, so this term will become 0, right? Plus similar logic for this and this, what will happen is limit delta t tends to 0, integral b to b plus del b by del t, delta t f dx divided by delta t. So this is 0 upon 0 type integral, the limit, this is 0 upon 0 type limit, and for the same logic the last one also will not serve. Okay, so that is what is going to go. So what is this? How do you evaluate this limit? That is the question. The final formula. The final formula is d dt t of t, which is derivative of integral which we had considered in the beginning, is integral a to b del f by del t, partially differentiate the function with respect to t, get whatever is inside, and then perform integration with respect to x. That is the first term. And now let me write down, this is a of t, b of t. Okay, minus, it is going to be f of t plus f of x. Now you have to tell me what this function is going to be. F of, now here we are assuming this is delta t is very small, and as delta t is very small, f is a constant function in that delta t. That is the assumption that we will make, because delta t is supposed to tend to 0. So you can consider, because this is differential calculus, you can consider that curve as a small horizontal line, and therefore this f becomes constant. It comes out, and practically you are integrating x with respect to dx. So it is no, you are just integrating dx, so it is x, and therefore upper limit minus lower limit, upper limit minus lower limit, and that is what is f into, f is constant, into del a by del t into delta t, that is what is integral of numerator divided by delta t, which is the second term, and similarly f into del b by del t into delta t divided by delta t, and therefore the final formula for integral differentiation under integral sign is integrate given function with from del at to bt f del f by del t times dx minus f of हे मी केलं ते बरोबर केलंय का? Yes, f of it is a constant function, so your x is also going to be a, and t is going to be t plus delta t. dA by dt plus f dt comma t dB by dt. This is the final formula you are supposed to remember. Now, the confusion in this formula is that there are two variables, which is your variable with which we are supposed to integrate and which is the variable with which we are supposed to differentiate. There is always going to be a confusion between that, and therefore I would like to write this final formula in terms of your parameter and variable. T is our parameter. Okay, so d g of parameter with respect to derivative with respect to parameter is equal to integral a of parameter to b of parameter del f, whatever function given to you is, differentiate with respect to parameter and integrate with respect to variable minus the function that is given to you, evaluate that function with respect to a of parameter, and a of parameter is your v value here in that function, and parameter, and differentiation of a with respect to parameter okay, plus f of b of parameter comma parameter db upon d parameter. So practically everything here is parameter, these two terms, and this term has got variable in it, but that is the only purpose of that variable is this f will have some variable in it, integrate it with respect to that variable and then put a of p and b of p. Now let me take a numerical and explain you, and then you are going to solve all the numericals. Take a minute, pause kar do. If you have any doubt difficulty here, you just explain, ask me.